Welcome back to the news break. This is Friday. It's Friday. Now I bring you news. I got the Ed Sheeran stories here at the end. I'm going to start with something that's a little interesting. Ann Wilson has a new record out. And she actually recorded it in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. It is coming. It's called, check it out real quick. Yeah, it's called Fierce Bliss. Fierce Bliss is coming out on April 29th. You can order it on vinyl, CD, and there's a download link, which I will probably include in the description box. There's a cover song on this record that I'm actually going to cover. And I'm not going to say what it is. Because I want to listen to it first. When I read the accompanying article that talks about the album and the upcoming tour with her solo band called The Amazing Dogs, which is going to be in Nashville June 13th and 14th at the Basement East, I was kind of intrigued because it's not a song I thought anybody was going to ever really cover. So I'm gonna deal with that. But I'm really excited about that album. That's kind of upbeat news. That's kind of like, happy. Stuff's happening in music. I got some downside news. Some news that's not quite necessarily so happy. I can't imagine how this has been for him. But Deacon Frey, the son of Glenn Frey, has left the Eagles after nearly 5 years. This is coming from Lone Star 92.5. The 27-year-old guitarist missed the opening of the band's earlier tour this year because he had an undisclosed illness. And he's ready to move on from the band. According to Don Henley's Facebook page, which is where the statement comes from, quote, Deacon Frey has devoted the past 4.5 years to carrying his father's legacy. After some weeks of reflection, he now feels that it's time for him to forge his own path. We understand completely and we support him in whatever he wishes to pursue in the years ahead. Henley continues that it's because of Deacon that the Eagles united after Glenn's death. Henley continues on, quote, at age 24, Deacon did an extraordinary thing by stepping from relative anonymity into the very public world of his father's long and illustrious career. We're grateful to Deacon for his admirable efforts, and we wish him well as he charts his future. The Eagles are on tour in North America through May. Also, the post has been taken down, which is not surprising, because Don Henley is kind of iffy about social media and about new media in general. So I'm surprised that someone else is able to recap or even have a quote about what was said. I always felt like that Deacon, much like Wolfgang Van Halen, stepped into heavy shoes, especially at the ages that they're stepping into their shoes at. When I couldn't imagine trying to literally do anything that my father has ever done, mainly because he's a better person than me, and he's accomplished a lot more than I've accomplished, much like my grandfather accomplished a lot. But when your legacy is so public and your family name is a worldwide thing, I didn't know what I was doing at 24, and I couldn't imagine, his father dies, and I think I've chronicled this before in another video, that a lot of the issue with Eagles not getting back together was a long-standing feud between Glenn Frey and Don Henley. It was only, when Glenn got sick that they buried the hatchet and they talked. But it was never about necessarily there's no thought to really getting back together. And so, Deacon Frey's like, no, we'll do it. They had been, Vince Gill has been on this tour with them, and had been, the last time they toured, Vince Gill was around even before Glenn died. So I'm interested to see what they do going forward. It's going to be the end of that tour is going to be very interesting. I'm going to save the Grandmaster Flash news for actually the commentary that goes with their mixtape. Some sad news in the Grandmaster Flash camp. We will talk about that. Should be later this weekend. I think I can pull that list together by the end of the weekend. I'm going to get to this Ed Sheeran news. So, as I chronicled an earlier video, and I also added, I forget what the guy's name is, there's a whole YouTube channel kind of devoted to like plagiarism claims and stuff that's going on in music. Ed Sheeran won his court battle over Shape of You. Sam Chalkery, which is the actual name of the artist known as Switch, sued him because he has this song, and it's in the other video. I'll find it and see if I can include it in this news break. But he has this song, and I kind of break down in the video about how the songs are kind of markedly different, which is ultimately what the judge said. And that, like I said, I think in the original video, you sued this guy over a word, because he's saying, in Switch's song, he's saying, oh, I. And Ed Sheeran is saying, oh, why. W-H-Y. That's why the suit happened, ultimately. And Ed even talks about it in this article found on 2Fab. He's saying, I don't want to take anything away from the pain and hurt suffered by both sides of this case. But I just want to say, I'm not an entity. I'm not a corporation. I'm a human being. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a son. And he concludes the quote that's on his Instagram, that he hopes this case can be an example for the future. Lawsuits are not a pleasant experience, he says. And I hope with this ruling it means that in the future, baseless claims like this can be avoided. This really does have to end. Adding that he and his team are grateful for all the support they've received, and hopefully we can get back to writing songs rather than having to prove that we can write them, unquote. It's like I said in the other video, because Ed Sheeran has had a lot of claims against him, and that he settled a lot of claims when it comes to copyright and songwriting, there are people out there who just think they can collect a check on Ed Sheeran. And this lawsuit just goes so you can't sue everybody over everything. I think somebody, and it might have been Ed Sheeran that said this, that there are 60,000 songs released every year and 12 notes. At some point, some note's going to sound like somebody else's note. Like there isn't a new thing you can do in music. You can take phrases and put them in different places or do different things with them. But there's just 12 notes. Like some songs going to sound like another song. The challenge is if you're stealing the idea. That's where I think the challenge is. You have to prove that your idea was stolen, not that the notes sound the same. And in this case, the idea was not stolen. The funny Ed Sheeran news is, and I recorded, actually, that noise is super annoying. Because I first saw this on Twitter. So I'm going to go to the story. Hang on. Because I have it bookmarked. Hold on. We are doing this on the fly. Because there's this guy who, I'll be honest with you, looks like kind of a crackhead Ed Sheeran. Let me go back. And for the people who've seen this this picture, this on the fly. So there's this kind of bootleg. It's not even a real story. Hold on. There's this guy that, let me see if I can, actually it's probably on my Facebook page. Let me look. There's a guy that apparently went to this church somewhere in Alabama or somewhere in Florida. Let me look real quick. I gotta find it. Hold on. And he doesn't really look like Ed Sheeran. Well, he looks like a crackhead Ed Sheeran. Like, he's super skinny, but he kind of looks like Ed Sheeran. And he went into this church and supposedly played Shape of You for this church. And they gave him $35 and a ham sandwich. And this went on apparently for a while. Yeah. It's in Lynn Haven, Florida. It's from the Lynn Haven Police Department, but they retweeted the story. So the Southern Illinois Fugitive Task Force is looking for Ronnie Williams Jr. of rural Blueford for fraud. He convinced 3 local churches that he was singer Ed Sheeran, and even went as far as performing Shape of You in front of one church congregation this last Sunday. When the pastor asked why he believed the real Ed Sheeran would perform for $35 in a sandwich, he said he just assumed he had fell on hard times. I'm gonna see if I have to figure out if I can find the video for this story to include it. And I don't know if they caught him because he's in this prison garb or what looks like a bad sweater. I'll see if I can find it. This is one of those moments where I wish I had a Facebook page for this channel. But he looks like this kind of down on his luck Ed Sheeran. Like if you didn't know that Ed Sheeran was like had real money, you would believe this story. But yeah, no. This is but everybody knows his name now. He's out there. And apparently he is on the run. But here's the thing. Of all the Ed Sheeran songs that you could play in a church, Shape of You is not it. Like, that's the last song I would play in a church. In front of, no. So that I had to end on the funny note on that one. Ed Sheeran in church now. So that's the news break. Like, share, and subscribe. See if we can keep this news going. Get some other mixtapes out. So we'll talk to you later.